And this doctor called me, came to his office, looked at me and said, Frank, what's wrong with you? And I said, I'm gay. He said, leave my office.
Ah,
I might be fortunate that I had people put in place in my life where I could freely express myself to them. Again, some people need to understand how being gay in Cameroon, it's like trying to love yourself in secret. At the
mm,
same time, learning to survive in silence. You always just sitting there and going, oh, I wish I was like that. I wish I was like that. So that they wouldn't look at me very weird. So for
mm.
me, it was like, how can I fit in?
Welcome to Two Bees in a Pod. I am Bilola.
And I am B. Leonga, and this is a podcast about immigrant experiences in the US, sharing our perspectives on various topics.
Including straddling cultures, fitting in, staying connected, learning and unlearning the good, the bad, and the ugly.
Okay, welcome everybody to another episode of Two Bees in a Pod. And Pride Month is over, but unfortunately for you guys, we're continuing the gay agenda. But I'm really excited for this episode. We have Frank Oben with us to continue our conversation that we've been having over the last couple of episodes. And I just want to give, a quick apology. I'm sure you guys can hear I'm down with a cold, so if you hear some mouth breathing throughout the episode, is me. So apologies in advance for that. But our icebreaker today is, and we'll start with you, Frank, on this one. What's your unpopular opinion? Food version.
Food.
hmm
Unpopular, meaning something that people would not like.
You have a strong opinion about food that will ruffle some feathers.
I have a lot. I'm gonna generalize this, and again, come for me. I would die on this hill. I don't think Africans are cut out for dieting, following any sort of dieting fad, whether it's keto, carnivore. I don't know what's out there these days. I really don't know. Juicing, vegan, vegetarian. I just don't think we are cut out for it. Yes, I've said it. I don't think. I've heard so many people say they're juicing and they're feeling well, or they've changed something in their diet. They're following keto diet and not eating carbs. Carbs is bad for you and stuff like that. No, no, carbs is good for you. I'm sorry. I'm sorry to disappoint you. It's good. So yeah, if I see any of my Cameroonian or African brothers go, I'm dieting. Well, unless you have a medical condition, then yes, make a point. But yeah, I just don't think it's necessary. Just eat a balanced diet. You're fine.
I agree with
Yeah,
you so much. Like carbs
yeah,
are just vilified, like potatoes, plantains, rice, like
yeah, yeah.
they're
I
not the
was
bad
telling a
guys.
friend, yes, I was telling a friend yesterday, I think we do not know how to regulate
Portion
what we
control.
eat. Portion control. Right. So is that one fufu or two fufu? It's like, no, we want two, we want three, you know what I mean? That's what we should, because there are still some people, I mean, I'm rather fortunate I don't have anything like that here. But I'm guessing in DC, Houston, for people who are still next to that traditional connection with food and they still eat it at home, I'm more than happy for you to eat it. But I don't think we pay attention to what we put in the food, the quantity, quality, that's what kills us. It's not about what we eat. It's just we don't understand, how much we should eat first of all. And yeah, so yeah, I would die there. You can eat your food. Yes, I don't have any Cameroonian restaurant in San Francisco. And I envy all of you eating your foods out there, but don't eat too much of your, you know, what you grew up with, your traditional meals all the time, because that is what is killing us. Yeah. I mean, think about it. All those people you grew up with, you see how slim we were, and then all of a sudden that curve deviates, right? It's like some people have taken it to a different level. And go ahead and eat your chin chin, your puff puffs and stuff, but don't go on a diet, please.
I think your activity also makes a huge difference, to be honest.
Yes.
Like if you're moving around a lot, and I'm not talking about just working out, like if you have an active lifestyle where you walk a lot or
Oh
you're
yeah.
on your feet, it makes a
Yeah.
difference too.
Yes. I think we want to eat the portions that we grew up on, but like Our grandparents were walking to the farm like 5 miles to go and do hard labor, come back.
Mm-hmm.
They could swallow 2 bundles of fufu and be good. You cannot swallow 2 bundles of fufu and sit at a computer.
True.
That's, you see, that's what I'm saying. It's like the
Mm-hmm.
lifestyle. I am a coach in fitness, wellness, and nutrition, and I work with my organization in doing research. You've hit the nail there, Bill. It's like you can't eat that and then go and sit down. And
Mm-hmm.
you have three, four, five children. It's they're cut out differently. We are just cut out differently. I think what we should strive for is a balanced life rather than doing too much and then all of a sudden going out there and trying to look for the latest fad to help us, right? No, it's we should be talking about this more in the community. So that's the hill I will die on. I don't believe in dieting. I just believe in portion control and eating what you like to eat. I tell people just keep eating it, but just in moderation. That's all.
Agree.
Yeah. Don't wean people off stuff like a baby. It's not milk.
Fair.
Yeah. But thanks for that. I have a lot, but don't get me started. Just I have a lot. Juicing is the next one. I make celery with this green juice, and I go, oh my God.
Yeah.
Yeah, let
Yeah,
me
no.
guess. When you're 80 years old, you'll still be juicing. Yeah, it's people don't think about sustainability, consistency, longevity. They want that quick fix right now. It doesn't work like that. Like we need to train our bodies. So that's it. So don't get me started. I have a whole list somewhere on my phone.
See, mine doesn't even seem as controversial anymore.
What's yours?
Yeah.
That I don't understand the concept of beignet haricot bouillie. For non-French listeners, that's puff puff, beans, and pap. Why? What's the reason?
Oh, don't get me started. I love it.
You do?
What's wrong with that combo? Like, I don't.
I get puff puff and pap, and like puff puff and beans. Why are all of those three things going together?
Because we love the two combinations, so just bring them together at
Mm-mm.
once.
I like to keep separation of the things. Like, why are we doing this? I don't understand the concept. And the fact that they actually have restaurants. There's a restaurant in Cameroon that's all they sell. Like they even make it cute. They call it BHB.
I love
Like
it.
why? For why?
I think it's tradition, right? It's a habit.
What is
So
a tradition? Mm-mm.
cultural forms, they're like constructs that we create.
No, I think that this is, like I said, this is that food that they were eating before going to the farm. Because you needed to bulk up because you needed to do manual labor.
Yeah.
Now, why are you eating that to go and sit at the computer?
It's
Like they need to eat.
nostalgia.
They need to eat it the way they eat it in Yubi. In Yubi, you call the puff puff place and feed 7:30. You buy puff puff, 7 puff puff, and the whatever else for the rest of it. So it's 100 francs meal. Well, this was 2 decades ago. It's probably I feel 1,500 now.
Oh man, that's a good one. Yeah.
Mine is more American based, but I will die on this hill. Bacon is so overrated. Bacon is overrated, and people put bacon in places where it does not belong.
Like
The only
where?
reason people like bacon because it's salty. And if I see you putting bacon in something, I just know that the meal itself, like the main dish, lacks flavor. So you just threw the bacon in there. If I go somewhere and they have bacon mac and cheese on the menu, I already know your mac and cheese is trash. That's why you added that salty nonsense to just save the flavor. Bacon is so overrated and people want to put it in everything. Like it does
Let me
belong
guess.
in places, but
Who paid you? Who paid you to say
nobody.
this?
Listen, I've been saying this thing for
The chicken
years.
somebody paid you for this. Because that's unnecessarily violent.
Bacon and then the texture. I hate those little bacon bits. Oh my God.
Which
You know
one?
the
Like
little like
the real ones or the processed nonsense on the shelf? They're
both.
not the same. No, they're not the same.
Oh my
They're
God.
not the same.
I hate them equally. And then if you put bacon in a sandwich, it's my pet peeve. The texture of the bacon must match the other layers of the sandwich. If I bite that sandwich and I go through the bread, I go through the lettuce, tomato, and then I'm getting stuck on the bacon and I have to do extra work to bite through the bacon, you have failed. Like
Grow up.
match the consistency.
Grow up.
So I'm really big about consistency in food. It's like it has to match.
People want different textures in their food.
It should not be so different that, like, again, like I'm stuck on one layer of the sandwich and I'm struggling. But yes, I will die on this hill. Bacon is so overrated. I swear, it's just salty. It's salt. That's why people like it. And
It's
people just
fat,
be throwing it
right?
in everything.
It's fat.
Yeah,
So,
fat
I
and
mean,
salt.
I use it for cooking, seldom, but it's like if I have to make a rice salad, like you said, the easiest spice in that rice salad would be bacon.
Mm,
Because there are people who do not require a lot of salt, so bacon already provides that fat and salt in it. I don't have to salt my food again. I mean, I will hide it inside for you. You're just gonna eat it. It's gonna be crunchy. You're gonna love it. You when you eat my bacon dishes,
Thank
or you
you.
have like bacon and cantaloupe. Oh, it's delicious. Roasted
Hey,
wow.
good.
cantaloupe or bacon
See,
and roasted pineapple. God, that's
bacon,
delicious.
that, no, that is it. See, that I agree. Bacon and pineapple,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
those two things go together. They're a match made in heaven.
Yeah, or
Yes.
roasted mangoes, or what's it called, the one I don't like, asparagus.
You said the one I don't like.
You don't like asparagus?
Nah, I don't like it. It's just water, well, like so many of the other plants, but I don't like it. No,
I like asparagus. The plant that, to me, and forgive me, it's just a useless plant, is celery. Like, what does
Thank you.
celery do?
Thank
Please
you.
tell me.
Other than smell,
Doesn't
it's a
even
lot
have
of
a
water.
smell. It's just
I
It's a
don't get
lot
the
of
nothing.
water.
concept of celery sticks. Now I would cook with it though. I don't know what
Why?
it does something. Like
What
when
does
you do
it do?
celery, carrots, and onions, they do something. They work together. But like on its own, it's not my thing.
It has no flavor.
It has no flavor, but it has a lot of water and fiber.
Yeah.
Yeah. But if you want to make it sweeter, what I do is I drop it in water containing honey and leave it overnight. Because that's what it does, right? It takes over the ingredient that you put in it. It absorbs it. Yeah, so when you chew it, it's a little bit sweet. Or when you're roasting it, roast it with some honey.
Interesting. Roasted celery.
Honey is the trick for everything because
But
like
even
cabbage, Brussels
yeah,
sprouts, all honey.
even ripe fruits, like you could make a mango, berry, banana chutney with brown sugar, glaze the brown sugar, put mangoes, really ripe mango. Then once it starts boiling, remove it, put it in the jar, you get a little bit of a gluey substance. Put it in the fridge, it might turn to jam. And then now when you want to use it the next day, just mix it with your celery and roast it in butter.
Wow. Frank
Yeah.
dropping recipes. Okay.
I worked in a restaurant. I was a sous chef, so you experiment with these things. Yeah. Like yesterday I made like a mango chutney with brown sugar, a little bit of honey, and then balsamic sauce, and then kept it in the fridge. It kind of gets a little bit gluey because of the sugar, and then use it for chicken
Mm,
rather
That
than
sounds
buying
good.
the ones in the barbecue sauces and everything. But that's what
Yeah.
they do, right? Right? They put the amount of
Vinegar,
sugar in
sugar.
it, and then they give you can actually make yours and put it in a little bottle and eat it in 2 days or a week, and the one ingredient that keeps it lasting is vinegar. So rice vinegar, white wine vinegar, red vinegar, we keep that last for a while in your fridge, and then use it every time you want to eat with all those different food types that have no taste, but then they would have a taste. They would have a taste. Trust me, it works.
So we put out this question on our Instagram stories before. So Bilala, can you read some of the heinous, unpopular opinions that we got?
Cookie corn is hot garbage and shouldn't exist. Like, I
No,
approve this message. I
absolutely
approve this
not.
message.
Straight
People
to
are
jail.
childish.
To
You're
jail.
childish. Why are you eating sweet food? Like you're
Let me
childish.
let me explain to our non-Cameroonians what cocky corn is. So it's a corn
It's
pudding.
like tamales. It's
It's
like
it's
tamales
tamales, basically.
with
Just
sweet
imagine,
corn. With
yes,
sweet corn. Grow up.
a sweet corn tamale without
The filling.
tamal, without the filling.
Billy.
Yes, that's what cocky corn, and it's glorious. I don't know what
It is
Bilala is
childish.
talking about. Oh my
It is
gosh.
childish.
I love it.
Anyway, thank you.
Said goat meat is nasty.
Yeah, I don't like open.
Good meat can be nasty if it's not. It's so gamey. That's the thing. It has to be prepared
Yes.
well.
Mhm.
Yes. Fine. Fine. There are a lot of Achu haters. They said Bobola is trash. Achu is a no-go zone. You should be jailed for mixing spaghetti with beans. Ghanaians, come to the front.
Leave the Ghanaians alone, please. You
No,
know,
no.
one thing I love, and I love when people take European food, like especially like Italian food, and they prepare it in ways that is not traditional. Like they take like a colonial food and kind of
Mm-hmm.
like mess it up, quote unquote.
Yes.
I like that. I like when Africans or other people like
Mm-mm.
gentrify
No,
European
no.
food.
You
So I'm here for
see,
spaghetti
mm-mm.
and beans.
No, no, no. Maybe spaghetti and beans, somebody enjoys that. My issue with the Ghanaian version is the rice, the beans, the spaghetti, the boiled egg, and the sprinkle
They're
of
getting
dry
the
gari.
protein.
And
Protein.
excuse me, what's the sprinkle of dry gari doing? Adding
We
some
need the
crunch.
gains. Yes.
The crunch. You, Nana, Kwabna, Abna, jail. Go to jail to not collect 200. And then all of you who don't like achu, I mean, I understand because I feel like achu is a draw of luck. Well, achu soup, I don't really care for achu, but like achu soup depends on the oil, and so if you got achu soup from like bad batch of oil, yeah, I can understand why you won't mess with it. But
Yeah, it's a hit or miss.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then let's see, people drink water yellow gari can kill because why aren't you bothered by the oil ring around your bowl?
That's just,
Hmm.
it's part of the experience. I don't know how to explain that to you.
Why are you drinking oil gari and then there's like a coating of oil? You're not bothered by that. And then now you heathens will even add milk and granite to it.
And
And Trump.
some coconut chips.
What?
Yes.
Hey,
It's a multi-sensory experience.
That's it. But then you hate bacon.
no, okay, I'm done. That's it.
That's it? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I mean, our DMs are still open if people want to, share more unpopular opinions. But all right, so let us introduce our guest or allow him to introduce himself. So Frank Oben is a self-described lifelong learner whose journey has taken him across 3 continents from Cameroon to Switzerland, UK, and now in the US in San Francisco. He has a deep love for finance, economics. Okay, we need to talk about that because why? Uh, Fitness, health, and wellness. And as I'm sure you heard, he enjoys cooking, traveling, reading books, and immersing himself in music. And above all, he values kindness, meaningful connections, and spending quality time with loved ones. And he describes himself as somebody who is endlessly curious about life and passionate about making each day count. I love that. So welcome again, Frank. And if you don't mind telling us a little bit about your early life, where you grew up, went to school, and how you found yourself here in the US.
Yeah, I mean, again, thank you, ladies, beautiful ladies, for having me on your podcast. I know Bilola is my sister, so we grew up together. We went to the same primary school, and our families are really we bond together. We have a great relationship with her family. Her dad was my doctor. I could still say it. My doctor to today. If I pick up the phone, he's going to answer. He took care of me always. He was always there for me, and our moms are pretty much similar, and the family came through, especially mom came through when my mom passed away, and that really touched me, brought back those childhood memories to say, like, they are always there. Mothers are the guardians of the universe, so to speak. Yeah. So yeah, grew up in Douala. That city never sleeps. There's always ambiance everywhere. There's just beaming with life. Raised Catholic. I would say that my family's Catholic faith, I would say, gave me kind of a discipline and community, but you know from a very early stage, a sense of guilt about the things I didn't choose, right? And then, of course, went to Catholic primary school, chosen ones, and then boarding school again, similar to what we talk about here in America, entitled, those who can afford. And then university, Naka Estate, formative years for me. Great group of friends from different cultures, different cities. It was like a small community family, right? It really kind of gave me a sense of belonging where you're not judged. It's just people just like you for who you are because everyone is just different. And from there, I moved to Switzerland, to Zurich, to do my bachelor's in business administration and management, international management. And then I started seeing those cultural reference points. Swiss is, how can I put this? It really changed me in the sense of, how we live our life, like every day, we don't care about what's going to happen tomorrow. It's always hustle, hustle, hustle. Switzerland kind of calmed me a little bit and taught me how to organize and plan and really think about tomorrow. And in order to pay my education, I had to work in the kitchen. So that's how I started washing plates, everything. That's where we foreigners were put, right? And then gradually the chief cook liked me and then kind of like started training me in meal prepping, called mise en place. And then over the years, rose to a sous chef. So sous chef just kind of supports the main chef in preparing if there is a special menu for the day, like business lunch, or preparing for the evening menu, afternoon menu, weekend menus, and stuff like that. Making sure that everything is in place for the chef to come and taste. If there's something wrong, then he can say why it's wrong or works with the other people to kind of rectify whatever is happening. Doesn't call the shots, the chef calls the shots. So I really like that because I got to understand different cuisines, Swiss, German, different Italian cuisines, Asian cuisine. I'm really all about fusion. I like mixing from one culture to another, but I'm very respectful not to add beans to pasta for the Italians to kill me. And then I did a stint for 2 years in the UK because I wanted to do my master's, right then in Zurich or in Switzerland in general, and I think in Europe, for based on how we grew up, based on how I grew up, always having a growth mindset. Our parents told us to go out there, go to school and stuff. But then when you start working, you kind of hit the wall or hit the ceiling. So there was no promotion. And one way to do that was to get a master's from the top schools. So I went to the UK, I went to Durham, and then came back and finally worked for an American company, studied in the finance accounting. So that's where my love for finance and economics came. I wanted to do a PhD in economics when I was in the UK, but then again, I heard someone said to me that I was educated beyond employment, which simply means that you Black people, you Africans, just spend time studying forever and not really taking care of yourself or just going and get a job, which made some sense to me back then. But when we talk about tradition and how we grew up, that's just what we know. We just had to study, 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 study. So I don't blame them for saying that. I mean, finance and economics is not just about numbers. So think about how the world works, right? Think about how you make decisions, how systems connect, and how you look at those small pictures to the big picture, the ripple effects. It's all numbers and the economics, not the economics that we know today. It's about patterns, about trends, about behavior, right? And the curiosity to there, thinking about the philosophy of finance and economics was really there. It's like, how do we manage money? The least thing you can do back in the country is your parents will send you to go pay bills, but you standing in line and paying those bills, you didn't know what it meant until you come abroad. Then they start telling you to settle down, find a job, and then you have all these letters coming in. You have to pay rent, you have to pay insurance. You don't even know what insurance is. And then they start telling you to save for retirement. I mean, we didn't grow up with all this, playlists, as I call them. It's really a playlist, right? No one, imagine you came to America and someone gave you a manual. Like, no one gives you a manual when you walk into America. So for me, it was all about understanding who I was in that environment and how it affected my everyday life, my growth mindset, and stuff like that. Please stop me and ask me questions along the way because sometimes I just run my mouth too much. But there were challenges, to be honest with you. Again, growing up in a Christian family, very religious, boarding school, Catholic school, and then there's that disconnect between yourself, who you are, and what society says it should be, the labels, the boxes. And then for some of us, or for most people, is tradition, right? Mom, dad, great granddad, so forth and so forth. Ancestors have done this, so you're required to do the same, to act the same way. For me, I started questioning all of that from a very, very early stage. I would be the kid who sits outside and just stares into the sky, and don't ask me what I'm doing. I'm counting stars, and I see one star and I think that's the only one. And then all of a sudden I see a million stars and I think I can count a million stars, not knowing that it just keeps popping in there. But that's the curiosity, right? Just looking into the universe and seeing the vastness, and rather than being scared, just being in awe. I was like, oh, this is beautiful. The other thing I love to do was just counting cars and trying to figure out the different car brands, Corolla, Peugeot,
Okay, yeah.
Subaru, do you know what I mean? And the colors, this is blue, this is white, so I was never really a group person. I was always isolated. And thinking about it now, I think it's because I felt at a very early age that I did not fit in. I was premature, cranky, weak. And I mean, I heard all of those, which I kind of chastise my friends right now for being bullies. I forgive them. Um, um, yeah, so I would hear those words, right? You're very weak, you're always a sickling, but thinking about it now, I just felt somewhere within me that, some things were not right, and I did not just belong. And there is one thing I said to myself when I was young. I said, if I grew up, I wanted to be so busy that, you know, I wouldn't bother myself with everyday life. Something like, if I was a doctor, I know I'll spend the rest of my life either in a operation ward or ER, just taking care of people, just keeping myself occupied. And this is because it felt like there was a monster in me that I didn't want the world to see.
Mm,
Right? Whether it was me who defined the monster or it was society which defined that monster to me. And it was one monster, but when you start looking at it through different spectrums, there's a religious monster, then there's a traditional monster, and then, it's just so many. And the question I had in my mind was, what if the world knew about who I was? Or what if the world was even interested in knowing who I was? So for me, is to shut it all inside and just carry on with life, being very respectful and obedient, pray to God, tell God that I would do anything He asked me to do. I promise I'll be a good boy. I'm not a good boy now. Um, so all of this, yeah. So there was a break point between leaving Cameroon and going to Switzerland, where people don't really, not that they don't care about going to church, but if you want to go to church, right? God is everywhere. Why be confined to one building? I learned a lot about spirituality. I'm more spiritual than religious.
mm-hmm.
It's just my connection with people, my connection with the universe, right? I don't bother myself about who people worship. You you can worship an elephant. I'm more than happy with that. Be my guest. But I think where I stand is when you force things on other people without really understanding their story, because I believe that life is all about stories. So it's not that Enanga story is like this, so Bilola should be like that. No, just listen to a story. So this is my story. I think you girls are putting me out in a public therapy right now. So let's do it. This is my story. So yeah, Cameroon there, and I think a lot of listeners would want to know what the monster is. It's just the attraction towards men of being gay, and trust me, I just want to tell the listeners out there, I have questioned myself so much. And you can imagine at a very tender young age questioning yourself, beating yourself up for being so different. And some people might misconstrue this and think you're the devil, you're this, you're sick, you're that, which is what I heard. And I think like your dad knows very well. It's just keep on torturing yourself, and it's kind of psychosomatic if you think about it, because you fall ill. I remember one time I fell ill, like really sick. I was really vomiting bile. I was throwing up bile. Went to the hospital, the Clinic Muna in Bonanjo, which you know very well. Had about 7 doctors look at me. And one of them, I remember he came back, all rest in peace, came back and said, "There's nothing with you. Just leave the hospital. Just
So
leave.
let me
Just
ask
go."
you this. This was
Yeah.
all like internal battles that you were having, or was there somebody, an external person, whether it was a parent, a priest, somebody telling you that you were evil or
Well,
whatever?
at a very early, let me put it this way. At a very early age, I did understand that something is different, right?
Mm,
There is an attraction towards the same sex. Let me be honest, if there are viewers here who went to the same primary school, secondary school, university with me, I can guarantee you none of you were in that bracket. So get off your get off your
so
horses.
calm down, okay?
Yes, get off your horses. You have a world full of women. You can have all of them. Not interested. Sorry, joking. You just, I don't know how to put it. And I'm guessing you've had guests on the shows that have expressed that. There's that feeling in you, there's that energy, it's so disturbing. It just moves in you. Things are not right because your body is acting one way, your brain is taking another way, but then you have families, you have friends, you have
Society.
society, and you have even the books. You're reading books, and in the Bible it says this, kill this, do that, imprison this, stone this one to death. And I was just one of those kids at a very early age who could interpret all of this because I love reading. I think the one thing I credit my dad for is giving me a lot of books to read.
Mm-mm.
Snow White and Seven Dwarfs and stuff like that. I don't know what I'm doing with those, but love reading. So you're being immersed into all of these different portions of life, and then now you find yourself in a boarding school. It's called single sex school Catholic church. It's full of boys,
Mm,
and then you have now in that environment, it's all about religion, it's all about faith, it's all about belief. So from 1 to 5, you go to church and you hear the same thing over and over again. Of course, you're going to question yourself, you're going to beat yourself up for that. So this is what I'm saying. But then gradually I think it's someone who gave me a book. I've forgotten the name. I read a book and it was on critical thinking, just to question everything around you. And once
mm,
I started doing that, some of the texts in the Bible do not make sense to me. And I remember that one good day during Mass on a Sunday, it was the story of Sodom and Gomorrah, and the priest went on with his charade, and I just woke up and I left the church. And he did call me afterwards and asked me why did I leave. And I told him why, and I told him to pass my confession to my mother if ever my mother asked
oh,
about me. Yes, because I think I already reached that stage where I was, okay, come on. You can't
yeah.
say love one another, and then at the same time, it's like, "Oh, God prefers you more than me because you're better." Even though we're sinners, but they're better sinners than the others. So, okay, you lost me there. You see, those kind of things. But I didn't hate people. I didn't hate people for who they are. For me, it was more about how do I survive?
Mm,
Right. How do you survive a room with no windows? That's
What
that's
mm,
what
that's
class was this? Like, do you remember like what class this would have been?
I would say the stronger feeling started in secondary school. So I would say from 3, from 4. Yeah, secondary school. Because now I am in an environment where there are no women
mm,
that could subdue that feeling, subdue in quotes. They're all guys. And don't get me wrong, it's not like I was lusting after people. It's just the narrative in your mind that they're saying something is bad, and at the same time, you're putting it right in front of me, right? It's like some people
mm.
say, I don't like bobola. Then you go to a country that only eats bobola. Do you know what I mean? Right? You don't like salmon, and all of a sudden, what the bloody hell are you doing in Norway? Because they only eat fish. Right. So that's you find yourself in a situation where and now being an adult and thinking back at it, I'm like, those were the trials, those were the tests I was going through to see how I react, how I manage my own self, and how I interact with other people. And I think I did well because I had no problem.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, did you have any close friends or family that you were able to confide these, like feelings to at the time before you left Cameroon?
At the time, no. But what I close friends, oh yeah, my
Before
girlfriends
you
to
left
school.
me.
Well, wait, I would say this, and this is the coming out story, and I'm guessing some listeners, I mean, those who are interested, would want to know. So I was working in Yaoundé for an international organization, and my mom calls me and says she really wants to talk with me. And I go, Mom, it's a Tuesday. Can't you wait for weekend? No, right now. Took the bus 3 hours down to Douala. I still images the whole movie is still in my head. I arrived home, door was open, walked through the main door into the living room. My dad was watching CNN as he always does. And hi dad, didn't even look at me. Where is mom? He does that. He's in the room, conscious watching his TV. I arrived around 8, 9 p.m. as I left around 5:36. And then bedroom, children room, parents' room. My beautiful mother was sitting in front of her mirror, you
Mama
know.
Maria.
Yeah, exactly. I'm taking care of herself, doing her necessary skincare routine before she goes to bed, like every woman does who were privileged to do it. Yeah. And lo and behold, there was a throne of judgment at the entrance of the room. And she asked me to sit down. And I sat down, you know. And you know, mothers, they're so worried about their children, right? And as much as I felt like it was cold back then, but it's just a concerned mother, right? And she turned around and looked at me in exact same words. Your father told me that you're running around with boys. He heard from someone that you're running around with so and so person. So I went, in my mind immediately went, this is it. I am done and dusted. Because I knew what she was alluding to.
Mm-hmm.
So back in Douala, um, when I had all my issues at the University of Boya, and they I had some issues in school. A girl outed me and I was punished for no reason. Was told not to attend, and my friends in GMC know this, and some of them say this is a lie, but I would bring them to justice because only a few of them stood up for me. Not in class, but came to my room to see me. Long story short, I was banned from classes, and they said I was a devil's son, I was this and that. I was in a sect, I was in a cult, blah, blah, blah. So my head of department back then, rest in peace, said he did not want to see me in any class. Nothing.
Sorry.
She just,
Did you
Why is
just
he
say
resting
rest
in
in peace?
peace? Why should he rest in peace?
Did he give you peace? Excuse me.
I
The
want
peace
to
that
be,
did
that's
not.
what,
No,
I,
no,
no, I
no,
want to
no,
be
no, no.
I want to be. I want to be. I'm very considerate
Mm-mm.
Mm-mm.
because I'm guessing he really didn't understand. I mean, I was a son to him, and that's what I'm saying. My story is a story with people, parents, and elders, and I understand now. I understand why or how they behave the way they behave, and this is just concerned parents with their own baggage and their own narratives and their own view of life, that they want some of us to inherit. Right. So it's like looking at the timeline and there's no obstruction. So once there's a deviation, it's, the devil's son and stuff like that. So I
Mm-hmm.
was like a son to him. Right. I knew it. And he was really angry that of all people on the planet, my name came up. Because one way to know this is how the person reacts. Like really, really angry and hitting the table and sweating and talking. And I sat there in the amphitheater, I was like, I, I, I was sick. And what this girl did, I just confessed to her. I just confided to her because she was trying to
Where is
She
do
she
was
some.
coming
today?
on to you?
Where is she?
Yes.
Where is
While
she today?
while I was sick,
Bruh.
I'm
my
calling you
friends,
after this.
my friends took me to the clinic, and she decided to stay with me. The boys went away, and she was coming on to me while I was sick.
Girl.
I was sick. Like
The
I had
thirst.
IV in going through my veins, telling me how she liked me. She always in the long story short. And in my weak state, I had to fend off. I had to fight her off and say, "Hey, stop! I'm just recovering. Like you can't do this." And then, of course, the more she forced herself on me, I think it was the third day. Then I just let it out. It's like, I'm gay and I'm grappling with this thing. And I was very happy that at Naka Estate, I had that little room at the back. It felt like I wasn't part of the whole community. I was like the caretaker's room at the back was mine. I felt so safe there. I didn't want to bother anybody at any time. So how does that relate to that? So first of all, I was outed at university. Who was the first person to hear? Of course, my parents would hear.
Mm-hmm.
And then during that 1 year, so normally UB is what, 3 years to
3 years.
graduate?
Yeah.
They failed me for 1 year and I had to,
Ugh.
so he told me, you're going to repeat, and then we're only going to give you a pass degree. I'm like, okay, fine. So during that transition, I was in Douala. I worked as a general organizer for a fashion designer. And of course, you know the stigma. Fashion is
Mm-hmm.
Man.
gay people and stuff like that. Well, I'll give it to them. It's true. Look how the world is beautiful. Jesus. And so one of the designer's best friend was French, and so he was teaching me the ropes of the industry and how to organize in Douala and Yaoundé and everything. And I recall one night, you have to go to these promotion events, and I recall one night we went to the nightclub, Blue Note back then, in Aqua, and there were some girls who were hitting on us, and we kind of pushed them away. And so for some reason, that one of those girls was a patient to my dad. So she told him there is no other way my dad would know. No other way. That's how they knew. So that's what my mom said. You were running around.
Mm-hmm.
These were the promotional events in the nightclub, Biblos, Jet Set that we would
Mm-hmm.
do. Right. And during that period, and that's why I said she was so concerned, because during that period was when, if you remember, in Cameroon, there was this witch hunt for gay people. They will catch you, imprison you, right? And some people were using this to make money. So I'll come and say, hey, Inanga is gay. They'll come and catch you, and behind the police, once your family pays money to the police, I get my own cut. Right.
Mm-hmm.
But even some of the stupid gay people will go and out their friends who they're jealous against.
Bruh.
So, but there was this really witch hunt. I've forgotten the year it was, but there was this really witch hunt. So mom was really, really worried because that's what she said. She said, you're in Yaoundé. Don't you hear what's happening out there? And I listened
Mm-hmm.
to her. I did not interrupt her. I let her go on. And when she finished, she said, you're not saying anything. And I remember what I said. I said, Mom, if the words of the Bible sets you free, then yes, I'm gay. I don't want to hide anymore. And she looked at me. I said, Mom, I'm gay. I don't want to hide anymore. And I bet you the sweat that just is like a waterfall, but the load on my shoulders just
Mm-hmm.
fell off. She just looked at me. I said, Mom, I'm gay. I have passed my confessions to priests, and I've told them that whenever you're ready, they should tell you. Because that's what
Mm-hmm.
I've done. I knew somewhere in my life, because our parents were very close to the Reverend Fathers in parishes, right? And I knew one day, don't ask me how, I knew one day she would want to know because I go for confession. So I already told the priest in my parish, if ever my mom wants to know, you have the full green light to pass my confession to her. Because there were moments in my life where that family thought I was possessed. I had priests come and pray for me. I was taken to church on those Friday nights when we have the vigil prayers and put there on the altar, and they were praying, do all the shaman thing there. I didn't feel anything. I was waiting for God. I'm guessing God was looking at me like, just go home, please. Nothing happened. But it was just, and the connection, how all of that ties. And that's when I say I'm more spiritual, because it looks like something was ordained and it was just put in place. And how that ties to me sick is that week that I was so sick and throwing up and everything, and all these doctors running tests and stuff, and me, and I was looking so pale. And this doctor called me and said, they sent for me, sent the nurse to call me, came to his office, well-traveled doctor, a friend to your dad, looked at me and said, Frank, what's wrong with you? Because there's nothing. There's nothing, nothing that would cause this reaction. What's wrong? And I said, I'm gay. He said, leave my office.
Ah.
He said, he said, leave my office. You're making your parents pay a lot of money. What are you doing here? I'll talk to your mother. Yes, so that's my story. That's what I'm saying in life. If only people could Just listen to other people's stories without judgment. That's my story. I might be fortunate that it happened to me, that there were people in my life rather than condemn me or do what they do to women or the guys and lock me up and do whatever therapy or whatever is out there. I had people put in place in my life where I could freely express myself to them. And they go, really? This is what is bothering you? Go live your life. Really, it's no point, right? You're just simply torturing yourself, right? And I understand that maybe they didn't have the power, authority, or the gusto to give me lessons for me to carry on. They were more interested in saving me in survival than me causing more harm to myself because I was really sick most of the time.
I
And
remember that.
there's nothing wrong with me.
I
Mm.
There's
remember.
nothing wrong.
I think I remember when you were in high school, especially
Yeah.
when you went in high school, you were always sick.
So I
You
was,
were always sick, and I don't remember if this was around that time because I was a very nosy child, and so I think the adults around me had to work overtime to make me
yes,
not understand things.
yes, yes.
And so I think one of those times where you had been really sick, the
Yeah.
key word that day was he's funny. And I said, like, he's hilarious in my head, because obviously that was, I think the word was used so that I would not know.
Mm.
And it
Yes.
was like years
Yeah.
later where, so I don't know if you remember this party, like 2003. We had a party at the house,
Mm-hmm.
and supposedly you had a conversation with somebody at the party.
Mm.
And so 2 years later, I'm talking and I was like, yeah, I was in NACA, like when I just got to the US. This is like literally within my first week. I just got to the US and I was talking to somebody and I was like, yeah, I was in NACA with Franklin Oben. And he's like, oh, he's gay, right? I was like, it's like, yeah. He told, like they were like, yeah, remember at that party, he said it to somebody. And this is what I tell people about language, and because I grew up with Franklin. And when I say I grew up with Franklin, we went to the same schools.
Yes.
We always at each other's birthday parties. If I bring any birthday party picture from when I was growing up, Franklin and his siblings are in that picture. And so I
Yes.
always tell people, like, listen, we grew up together. There's no influence. This is just like, it's just him. There was no learning from anything because I would have
No.
learned the same. I would have learned the same thing. We used to go
Yeah.
to the same church where
Yeah.
I think I only went to church because I knew that we are going to get ice cream after mass.
Exactly. Me too.
And I think we used to scheme. Like on a Sunday, maybe where their mom looked like she was going to say no, they'll come to ours. And then
Exactly. Oh my
like a
God. Yeah.
Sunday where it
Yeah.
wasn't leaning in our favor, we went to his mom. And so
Yeah.
it's just like, I want to say that when we were in NACA, when I went to University of Boya for like 3 months, I knew there was something different about Franklin. I used to tease Franklin about his walk, right?
Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
always say that Franklin's like, he's walking. So like every time I saw him on campus, I would shout. I would be like, hey, Nami, I find so.
I mean,
Because I used to say he's like, he'll walk, he'll look at himself like, hey, Nami, I find so. And he'll look at
yeah.
like, hey,
Yeah.
Papa God,
That's
thank you.
Yeah, that was me. It was very, again, some people need to understand how being gay in Cameroon, and I'm guessing also around the world, especially when you're not in an open society, it's like trying to love yourself in secret. At the
Mm.
same time, learning to survive in silence. It's not fun. It's very easy for people to go, yes, but it's bad, it's evil. It's like, pay attention to what the person is telling you because that's the person's life. I wish I could walk into your house and tell you how to live your life, but I can't. And if our parents are supposed to really tell us how to live our lives till we die, why are they not around us to today? Why are you still doing the things that you're doing? It was so difficult because again, you see the people you love, you grew up with, the friends you grew up with, they're happy. But one thing or the few things that people did not see is that rejection, the reclusion backwards. You always just sitting there and going, oh, I wish I was like that. I wish I was like that. So that they wouldn't look at me very weird. So for
Mm.
me, it was like, how can I fit it? They're playing table tennis, so let me go and be, a bro,
Mm.
whatever they call it, and I pay. But then they go, no, those tight shorts, no.
Oh,
It's
not
like,
the
yeah, you
shorts.
wear tight shorts too. Yeah, it's like you wear tight shorts too. Yeah, your tank top. You just came to play
The
basketball. The
wife beater.
playground.
That
You
is
know
the
what I
most
mean?
fascinating thing.
And
Like when you wear
yeah,
yours as a tank top, When they
Yeah.
wear theirs, it's a wife beater. And just because we gave it that name, we gave one the name wife beater, which is problematic on its own, and then we gave another one tank top. Now all of a sudden, it's like two different people.
Yeah, it's just like that's what I'm saying. It's like, why is it okay for you and it's not okay for me? Why is it I look funny or I walk funny, but when you do it, you don't look funny or you walk funny? Don't tell me that there are no married men there who wear tight pants. Why are you wearing it? Keep wearing your saggy shorts or your saggy pants. I'm totally fine with it. I have my own issues to worry about. So these are the not really distraction. This is the pressure that goes on in a very young child's mind, trying to figure things out. The kids these days are fine. They didn't tell us to do whatever we wanted to do. You're either a doctor, lawyer, engineer. That's it. The day you push a tomato cart in your family is the day you kick you out of the house. But yeah, you can do whatever you want to do. Imagine when we grew up, they told us we could do whatever we wanted to do. We will be running our mouths. You can't even run your mouth with your own parents. Do you know what I mean? When that shift came when I went abroad and you had people saying, just be who you are. Where is the pressure coming from? But they didn't understand the back.
Mm.
And I must be honest, I did not have like a violent, difficult background like most other LGBTQ people would have had. I had my own struggles. I had my own demons. I was fighting them almost every day. Racism, immigration, in school, going to school and feeling like you're left out. You're the only black person in class. You're not rich enough. You're so poor that you can't even afford a pen or a pencil. Going to the UK and people laughing at your accent and asking you to speak in English. Like, I speak English, which other English you wanted. But, people always trying to make you feel like you're you're less and less than them, and they feel dominant. Yes, those are struggles I went through, and also just trying to live my own life, looking for love, knowing what love is. What is it all about? How can you go to your friends you grew up with and tell them you're something? If they see you in a group, how many times was I ostracized? Like, oh, that's that one. Do we stand with
Mm.
him or not? Everything. There was also a situation. I don't want to mention it because I promised them I wouldn't mention names or stuff like that. But there was an event I went to, and here in America, and it was my husband who told me that some other person told him that during the intermission, I call it intermission, the break, no, when the bride and the groom have to go and change again, then come to the real thing.
Mm.
Yeah. During that break time, my friends actually spoke about me,
What they
and
say?
they're like, oh, he brought a partner with him. It's like he's exposing himself to us. Like, what do we do? And then some other people were like, come on, he's our brother. And I remember I did not know. I came there to support my friend during his wedding. And so I remember coming back and they put us on the table with only two people who are fine with it and their wives. And I know their wives. Bilola, I think you know their wives too. And the rest of the group right behind. Gradually, they warmed up into it, but I felt that division between us, right?
Mm.
But I could not explain why. Why am I festival ahead, but all my friend and they for back? Like, what's
Mm.
happening? But I came to celebrate. That's it. But my husband, then boyfriend back then, was more worried for me. It's like, how would that feel like, right? It's like, you told me these are your schoolmates, classmates, and then there's that rift, there's that division. And I explained to him, it's like, oh, okay. And there's so many instances, even in Naka Estate. You remember, when um I wouldn't call names, came to my room and said, "We have to talk to you. We have to talk to you. It's getting offhand." Here's me thinking, what's offhand? And they said, "So we realized something with you. You like listening to R&B music." And I'm like, "What's wrong with R&B music?" It's like, "Yeah, but you listen to a lot of female R&B music."
Oh my God.
And went on and on. They said really nice things though. I'm like, wow, they gave me flowers. It's like I'm very caring. I'm kind of the mother figure in Naka Estate, which is true. I love cooking. I mean, if you want food, there's food in my kitchen. Go ahead and help yourself. I'll cook for you. But they went on and on and on. And then they came to the shorts. It's short, it's tight, it's this, it's that. And they went on and on and on. And then I remember being very, very quiet. And then they went on and on and on. And went, guys, I'm gay.
I remember this.
These were your close friends who are trying to stage an intervention of sorts.
That's not what they said. So
I
that's not
know.
what, when they repeated the story, that's not what they said.
Exactly.
Because they said you guys were standing outside and you were just talking and they're having a conversation.
No,
And
no.
you said, I'm gay. And somebody said, stop playing like that.
No, that was in my room. I would never say it outside because I was afraid for myself, right? Being in that environment. And so they convened a meeting, remember, in Roxy's room. Was like
I remember Roxy.
the big sister for all of us. Like, why are you guys convening a meeting? What is this? I close it. It's like, no, Frank, no, no, you can't say this. You can't say that. Roxy on her own point was like, but he's a friend. He's our brother. He's part of the community. Everyone's like, no, no, not possible. I'm gonna be inviting you in my room. And I just stood there. And then one of my
It's
friends
not.
really came and buttoned me here like this,
Yeah.
lifted me up,
It's the fact
lifted
that
me
you're
up.
still calling them your friend. That's
Hello.
It lifted me up, and then he came and said, "Put him down." He's like, "Oh, sorry, sorry, Frank. I'm sorry." He's like, but who's going to hang around or sleep with all these girls in UB? I'm like, you guys. That's what you're there for. You guys.
Not him
right.
worried
But
about the girls.
I can't.
Yeah, and I'm
I
like,
can't.
and they went on and on, but I remember for I think the whole week they did not talk to me. The normal routine we had, go to school together, come back together, or when we come back together, play table tennis, or invite me over to your room. I go upstairs, go down, listen to music, watch movies together with your girlfriends or friends. 1 week, nothing. And so one day, I think during the weekend, I think it was a Sunday or Saturday, after that the gentleman who had the business in front, I've forgotten his name, was
Yeah.
telling. So when he closed down, I sat there on one of those benches. I just sat there, and then one by one they came and sat next to me. Just sat in silence. I just sat there, and one of them said, "You're a brother. We would never disown you, or it's just we just can't believe you are." We don't know what this is. I'm like, that's the point. It's not for you to figure it out. But if you accept me as a brother, I'm more than happy for that. And that's when everything changed. So they were, I think, one of the really first friends who knew I was. Yeah. And one of them actually protected me in Douala when we left the nightclub and we went to a bakery, and two girls who would try to hit on me and stuff, and they knew I was gay, came with a group of guys. They knew me in the bakery. Walked in. I was getting breakfast bread for my friends for making breakfast. Frank is always the mother, and so he realized that I had not yet come back to the car. So when he walked in, he saw this group of guys like attacking me, calling me "El PD," this, you know what they say. And I just took quiet. And then he walked in and he said, "If any one of you touch him, you touch me." And then the other guys came from the car too and said, "If you touch him, you touch all of us." They were like, "Oh, mon frère, c'est comment?" Oh, because all those guys now were like buffed, muscular kind of thing. And then the security guard saw it and then rushed up to me and said, "Oh, Monsieur Ben, what's happening?" I'm like, "No, no, no, no." It's like, "Are they bothering you?" I'm like, "No." I try to I don't want to have issues.
De-escalate. You don't want, yeah.
The security guard said if they did anything, we're just gonna send them away from the bake. I'm like, no, come on, everyone's coming here to buy this. I'm not like that. And the final thing I want to say is this, because one thing even my family doesn't know is that I've been to jail. I've been locked up
In
because I
Cameroon?
was gay. Yes,
What?
yes. So that's why I was afraid, because once people know, and that's why I said my mom was so concerned for me because of what is going on, right? People will go, "That's so and so person." But then again, back then it was even before. It was before my mom knew. It was before, and yeah, I was caught. And it wasn't more about you don't. Obviously, I left my ID card in the office, but it wasn't more about ID card. It was just someone who identified me with my other friend, the white guy, and who thinks that because that means gay, and I had said something to the girl in the nightclub, and he could recognize me, and he recognized me on TV. He said, "That's the person, that girl. I still know the girl's name. Said this about him." Threw me in the bus, Bonanjo, this deuxième, I think, me, and locked me up the whole night in the morning. My boss came and removed me at about 4 or 5 in the morning because I quickly texted him before they seized my phone. I said, if you don't see me at the office tomorrow, this is where I am. And then the guy grabbed my phone. Nice. Story
Okay.
for another day. So yes, I've been through a lot. And again, this is just me. I don't blame family, friends for their beliefs. I just wish that the love that people profess comes from the doctrine that they manifest or they act upon. And moving to America also has really permitted me to talk about, to have that introspection, really ask questions. Who am I? Because you can think about it, the last 15 to 20 years, and I'm guessing every other person, so most other people, it's like you've been living other people's lives, because they say you have to be A, you have to be B, you have to be C, you have to be D. And sometimes we really don't take time to really sit down and say, but who are you? Who are you? So this is what I'm going to write now. Yes, I'm happily married. I'm very happy in San Francisco. I tend to mind my own business. I have been involved with a few arguments here and there, both with former schoolmates, classmates, or in forums. I would always speak up for LGBTQ people. I don't bother myself about what's happening in your private lives. This is none of my business. I think the message here is I just hope people could just tone down the religion, tradition, and everything, and just try to know people for who they are.
Whew.
Because I'm not the one forcing down religion on anybody. I'm not the one forcing down my private life on anybody. I'm not running around naked in front of your kids and family and wives and everything. I would not do that. They don't pay me for that. I don't go around nosing about people's business. I hope that you're healthy and happy wherever you are. Yes, I've been discriminated upon because I'm black and because I'm gay. I've had, as a fitness trainer and coach, I've had people reject me because I'm black and because I'm gay. Um, Even in Switzerland, in the UK, I've faced those before, but it hasn't stopped me from being who I am. That's your problem. You go to bed with your issues. I'm fine. There are other people who are going to accept me. And I'm guessing some people would say, but what about your family? I told mom before she passed away, I had to. I sent her a text, first of all, because I know she was so worried. Even when I came for my brother's wedding, now I remember the reason she sent me with the security guards was not because she was worried about something might happen to me at the club, because I went to a club with my friends, Safari Club in Bonacriso. And she always said, that's your thing. You know how they speak, that's your thing that you're doing there. you know. And she told the guy, please, I remember I still have pictures I took, and some of the security guards were like everywhere, because it was a big company. It was Wackenhut from South Africa. It's a big company. And two of the guys really, really liked me because they loved my mom. I used to go to the Pectin days and play tennis with the other colleagues, and so they really liked me. So she was so worried for me. But I remember 1 year before she passed away, when I got a message that she wasn't feeling well. I mean, I'm saying this now in retrospect of how I did not behave back then, because back then I thought she was fine. But now, sitting down and really viewing everything backwards, I know when I received that email, something said, quit your job, go see your mom, spend some time with her, which is what I did. Quit my job, spent 3 months in America. But before coming, I did text her, still have the text, and my siblings, and said, oh yeah, I'm gay. This is who I am. And I will be coming with my boyfriend. And I would respect you if it's not something you would want to see or be exposed in front of you. I respect that, but I just hope you can respect me for who I am. When she met my boyfriend, they hit it up like high school sweethearts. Don't ask me what happened. They didn't even pay attention to me. They did not pay attention to me. They were talking about stuff. I'm like, hello, I'm here. They'll look at me and they go, oh, because I realized that it's just people, we're just people. We're just people. And we visited her often until I knew in January that she had cancer. I never knew. And all she said to me was, go come back, go and come back. But I come back to bury her.
Oh.
So how do you start your life in America with your mom? But I told my family, and of course, some extended family members said some things like exposing that my life in front of my cousins and nephews and nieces, and I'm just rolling my eyes like, and that's me, just out of respect. If I go somewhere I'm not respected, I tell my husband, let's go. I don't want to argue. I don't want to raise my voice. Get into the car. You're not welcome. Go. It said in the Bible, right? Dust your feet. Oh yeah, take your route.
Mm.
Now that you say that, because I think at her funeral, like, you kept me updated, like everything as,
Yeah.
she was going.
Yeah.
And what is the craziest thing? So she would always call my mom. As
Yeah.
an adult, from being a nosy child, the benefit of adulthood was that I could button in the conversations, nobody would slap me.
Yeah.
And so she would call my mom, and I remember them having this conversation November. We came back from burying my mom's sister, and she's
Yeah.
telling like that she was on the dance floor, she was dancing, and they had to help her get up. I'm like, which type of dance was she dancing? But it went from that was November, December, and
Yeah.
then by January, February, you were texting like, it doesn't look good, like it doesn't look good. And you messaged the day she passed to say I should let my parents know. And I
Yeah.
know that in that moment, like a very big thing for me was like I had to be there for you.
Yeah.
And like even when I was there, I felt like maybe I was wrong. I was presumptuous because I talked to a few of your classmates, and I was like, "Hey, are you going for Franklin's mom's funeral?" Because I mean that's what we do in our community.
Right. Right.
And the response that I got, a lot of it was like lukewarm. I'm like, "Did you
Yeah.
guys announce in your class? Did you talk about it?" But that
Right.
day at the graveside, I just felt like everybody was standing there on one
Right.
side, and you were
Right.
standing by yourself, and which is when I walked to you, and I was just like, "I'm
Right.
here.
Right. Right.
I'm right here."
So even at my mom's funeral, even at my mom, sorry to say this, maybe it's gonna come out in my book, but even at my mom's funeral, when they were about to take pictures, they put my husband and I at the end, and all the other family members stood in the middle,
What?
and they took a picture. And I said to myself, I don't want to have any other thing. So when I stand for you, you guys stand here, you guys stand here. The way they rearranged us was when the core family member, and you could really see the looks they gave me. And someone said, oh, yeah, give us time to adapt. I'm like, you have all the time you need on this planet. You would not see me anymore. This is my mother. So rather than doing Facebook Live posts and everything, how about we honor her? And you're right. That's when they were putting her in the ground. You saw me, I walked to the tree and I sat down. Because not also during my mother's burial. Come on. What has been, and then when we went home, one of my uncles were like, the Sacred Heart boys, or they're so effeminate and gay and using all this uncouth words. And because I had one of my uncles too who went to Sacred Heart and blah, blah, blah. And so they were just, I'm guessing they were drunk already, but he was one of them that was really giving me those terrible looks. And they went on and on and on. And I remember just looking at my husband, my then boyfriend, and saying, okay, this is where we live. Let's go. I don't want to listen to any of this anymore. I don't have to. In my 40s, with all the pressure I've gone through my childhood, nobody's interested to know. Of course, I'm not. If anybody shares that with me, I'm going to listen. But I reached a stage where I had to take care of myself first. My mental wellness was really, really important than what society is trying to the box they're putting on. I mean, we're already black and African. They tell us we're from least developing countries. Come on, guys. We're already a box. Then you go again, and then they look at you and it's like, oh yeah, but you're from that little group, and they box you and they say we should fight for oppression. How can you fight for oppression when you're oppressing your own people? That doesn't make sense. Which Bible are you reading? And then even in sinners, there's favoritism. What am I missing? Oh, you're not black enough, or your sins are not sinful, or the sin is not sinning, as they speak in America these days. So what am I missing? Like, how we care for people? And this is where people don't care, because they only say, how can you say you care for people, but then you don't stand up for the very morality that would not jail them, imprison them, or hurt them? You cannot even speak out even to speak out, even in hide, you can't even do it. So all that upbringing is for what? All that religious studies we went and wrote in A levels, O level was for who? You were going on your knees for who? For what? For yourself?
I'm sorry, I'm childish. You said going on your knees. My brain went a different way.
I know. This is what I'm saying is that when people and again when people and of course I do understand. I told my schoolmates and classmates and wherever I said I understand that the conversations in the LGBTQ, they're shaped by fear and stigma and law. Let's be honest. In diaspora spaces, there is more freedom to be, but also a quiet policing by the cultural remnants of what we carry is still there. Yes, there's still days I go, I was raised Catholic. Okay. My mom would not be happy about this. Grandmom would definitely put me through the ringer. My dad, if there was a shooting range right now, I'll be a target. You know what I mean? We go to those dark spaces. People don't know whether you're gay, whether you're a man, woman. There are times you go through these things. And now that we are on the topic, you know, yeah, progress. I think progress is not a straight road, and it's kind of a dance, sideways, backward, and then forward again. And I always tell people like storytelling humanizes people because I listen to you, I listen to what you've gone through. I'm not here to solve your problem. I wish I was. And even if I was, you would have to pay me a lot of money to solve those problems because there are a lot of problems. The baggage we carry is just a lot. It will take us round this world and round Jupiter again. So I just hope that when people see the pain and joy, it becomes very, very hard for them to kind of deny your dignity. Because if it's not, then it kind of questions their humanity. What do they stand for? What are their values for? Are you worried about what your friends will say? So let me guess, you've already like picked the winning team, and it's like you draw a line and then you stand on the other side and call me brother. No, stay there. I'm fine. Then why are you still worried about me? Why are you worried about policies and stuff like that? Why? This is what I don't get, and this is what I hope for the future generations or any viewers out there or listeners out there who are still going through their own issues and struggling. It's not going to be easy. I wish I had it easy. It's not going to be easy. That's what I did. Look for supporting structures, communities. Sometimes the family you have is not the family you want, or sometimes the family you want is not the family you have. But there are people out there who are waiting with open arms to embrace you, and then the other ones get jealous. Look at you. And then now you start progressing, and then they're jealous again. You're like, I can't. I don't know what to do. And I just think that I'm not condemning cultural beliefs. I very much respect people's cultural beliefs. I think what I'm doing right now through your podcast is just inviting people to ask questions. Do you believe in healing people or harming people? Or do you believe that people wake up in the morning just to harm themselves? Or we are kind of like thriving towards healing because each of us needs a little bit of healing communion. Do you know what I mean? And I really do believe that change will start in very small conversations, which is what we're having. I know you guys talked about a physical safety, how I feel and everything. I'm not, I was attacked several times on social media from someone in the UK who outed me on social media, and I remember that day I woke up in the morning and it was just flooding. It's easy to do, just shut it down and that's it. Because I think I reached that stage where I don't feed into that because then it's gonna keep remunerating in your mind. I don't think silence online is being a coward. I think it's wisdom. I'm sorry. I don't have to respond to everything. I've traveled a lot and it's so refreshing to see going to other societies and communities and they welcome you with open arms. They don't even care who or what you. They'll be like, just gather your problem, just shit on for day. Just because if they want to tell you their own problem, it's just going to be problem on problem. But open arms, you're welcome to your community, the society, and everything. And sometimes you just wish, what if mine was like that? Some people say, why don't you go back to Cameroon? I'm like, what am I going to do there?
Push your
How do
shit,
you
Kwalaba.
how how do you go back to how do you tell a girl who has been abused to go back to her abuser?
Facts.
How do you tell someone to go back to a place where you never felt comfortable to be comfortable? To do what? Talk to who? They already told you online that they hated you. So what are you doing there? They already
Yeah.
made it clear that you are the son of a devil. You're sick, you're deranged, and you go, I'm 42, I have a job, I know my right hand from my left hand, I know how to kick a ball, I know how to climb a mountain, I know that's a plane, it's not, that's a woman, it's not an alien. You know how to distinguish red from blue, but they tell you that you're sick, you have mental problems, and you go like, okay, you have a bachelor's, you have a master's, you have an MBA, okay, but I have mental problems, okay. I'm safe and secure where I am. And so once you start having that self-compassion with yourself, anything that any other person says just falls down. Because they're the ones who type with all that anger. What are you angry for? You have your
They're so
wife, your kids. How about
angry.
you take
I don't know why
how
they're
about
so
take care of your
angry.
wife? Do
I
you
don't.
see me do you see me in front of your door dancing in front of you? No, it's
You're
not.
just living.
Why are you so angry? God did this, God that is if God made everyone in his image and
God
likeness,
made you blame. They should blame God for making you gay.
why are you so special? Or like I tease them saying that if God made us in his image and likeness, what's so special about Jesus? And they just lost it. It's like, let's be honest. But I just think that, yeah, online safety is very layered. I do understand it. But honestly speaking, safety comes with planning. There are places I go to. I know my exit route. I know what I can do or what I cannot do. If I'm welcome, I would never go there. There are states in America I would never go there. There are countries on this planet I would never go there, and I'm totally fine. I just came back from Senegal. I ate good yassa soup, so I'm going back to Senegal. So I don't care about the other places. But I love traveling. My husband is very understanding. He's very caring. Yeah, we're just managing our own life here in San Francisco. Um, it's a very small place. Yeah, we, we just bond over traveling. We travel a lot when we can, but also sometimes we travel separately because there's some things he likes that I don't like. I don't like the beach. I don't know what I'm doing at the beach. That thing you go into the water and come back and then sit in the sun. I
Sand,
don't know. I
sand.
but I am more a curious mind where when I traveled, I don't do a lot of museums and churches anymore. You can Google it. I'm more about talking with people, trying to understand people's lives. What makes you happy? What's your traditional meal? What do you want me to eat if I come to your city and stuff like that? Where should I go to? Where should I not go to? I think that for me is safety. I try to respect the other side. Those who call me the devil, it's like, okay, fine. If I'm the devil, then you're not supposed to see me, right? So
Right.
I don't go to your places. And the current political climate is not a good one. The recent policies reminds us that progress is still very fragile and requires a lot of guardianship, especially for upcoming people of color, LGBTQ, however people would like to identify themselves. I do understand that resistance is not only about protests and petitions, but it's also about voting and supporting those LGBTQ businesses and holding these conversations at home. Okay, hate me all you want, but at least hold the conversation at home. Ask yourself one question. What is bad about Frank? Name one thing that's bad about him. Don't say what the Bible told him is bad about him. That's why I always ask some people who know me, what's one thing bad about me that I've done to you? One thing. I've always been kind. I've always been there for all my friends. So when you say you hate me because of what a book tells you, are you really hating me about what the book tells me, or you're just telling me that you're so sheepish that you can't question it? And if you question it, something is going to happen to you. I'm living proof. I've questioned God all the time. I'm still alive. There are many people on the planet who've questioned God. They're still alive, up and running. So we need to start questioning things and seeing people for who they are. Yeah, so the political climate, I'm not very happy. To be honest with you, you see what's happening out there. Who knows? I was telling a friend, all these things you see in America, we used to hear them back in Cameroon. Greener pastures. Where? Where is it green? I feel like someone robbed me off of my dream right now. Seriously, and everything you read about the 50s, Hitler and the rest, it feels like a possibility to you. And you're telling yourself, I literally ran away from my country, from my continent, taking greener pastures, and this is what I'm exposed to. And not only for you, but maybe you know someone else who might be affected by this. And knowing that you have friends and families who voted for this administration, it's more than a slap on the face. Because some of them are like, but we didn't think it was going to. No, you voted for him and the administration.
Ooh, child. Listen, you just
So
said
that's
a
what I'm
word.
saying. It's like, let's be honest, it's like while other people are spending time in very quiet moments dissecting and really understanding the landscape, you are acting out of fear. So what you are actually saying is that people have the right to walk into my house because I'm gay and stab me and shoot me on the street and stone me because we are bad people. What you're actually saying is that I am so sick that I need mental clarity through some therapy that has never been proven to happen. That's what you're for. Don't say, oh, no, 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 no. No, that's what you're for. Because that's the world they want to take us back to. It's just like women's rights and stuff. We know some men don't want their wives to be presidents or director generals of hospitals and everything because it's a male dominated world. I said, why do you have to fully blast your male patriarchy dominated world? You don't vote for a woman because in your life you never had powerful women. Just agree to that. Let's be honest. So that's what you're saying. When we say this, and when I tell my friends that I would always stand up for these issues for anybody, it's not because I want to fight against them. It's just because when you look at the human moral aspect of things, which again is very layered, look at the person and say, is it right to hit someone? Is it right to lock someone up just because he thinks different or he's doing something different? None of which is playing right under your roof. So I don't like the political climate in which we are in. I don't want to talk a lot about it. I know change is like a marathon. Rest is also resistance. And sometimes for me, I always say silence is very comfortable, but also it's complicity. And I don't want to be complicit to whatever is happening out there. Whenever there's activism happening, I go out and I play my own part, right? We go to the city hall, which is just nearby here, and then we go and ask questions to the mayor, to the representatives for us. But I still think for us, especially as I don't like that word, African Americans, or Cameroonian or immigrant who are here abroad, I think we need to start having these discussions because some people have young ones coming up, and I don't have kids, and I don't want to speak for other people, but what are we exposing them to?
Young bigots.
Uncle Frank is some crazy, funny, wizard, sick joker. I don't know, give him any name, and people like him should be jailed and don't exist. Or okay, we don't want to be intensive. Let's just jail them and still feed them. Or what other people say, how about we give them their own island or their own country? Trust me, if you give it to us, we'll be so good. Because the last time I checked, your Apple phone, the currency of Apple is gay. So if you don't like it, just throw your phone away. And I'm pretty much sure all those closeted gays are there and they'll be serving you food, treating your families in hospitals, in restaurants, and everything. But because of your policies and because of the way you think about them, they prefer to hide in silence. But they've been treating you because they're just laughing at you because they just want to make you feel good. But in their minds, they're really looking at you like, we're so sorry for you. We're really sorry for you. But yeah, I hope I've touched everything. I'm so sorry. I went off
No, no, you
like
took us
a,
to church,
I think
Pastor Frank.
no, I mean, my message out there is, especially for us Cameroonians and Black people and so forth, if there's anyone listening, if there's any family out there, and you see your son or daughter acting funny, and you look funny, it's just speak to them. It's rather than because the more pressure you put on the person, the more rebellious the person becomes, or the more lost the person becomes. What's the whole point of having a family and you're sleeping out there with other people? I don't get it. So, and this whole issues of gay people can have children and stuff like that. I'm like, the ones that you had and they are abandoned. Can we talk about them? And then we're trying to adopt them, and you're saying that, oh, children cannot be raised by two men. Actually, they do super well. There's a lot of statistics that show a gay couple raising a child, they will do that child will do super well. Super well. So all these discussions, I really hope for me, I really hope we can sit down and just talk about it rather than come with some preconceived notion, narrative, with always saying like, you are bad. Religion says this, God says this. You've never spoken to him, you've never seen him, but he says this. It could be a she, but we don't know. Let's not go there. And so, even that argument you and I are going to have, that's why I tell people I can't argue with or discuss with people because they've already put a wall and they're not willing to listen. So it's going to be a waste of time. I just hope that our families, our brothers and sisters are able to have this discussion and support, because those people will thrive well and would also take care of you. Are they bad seeds? Yes, they are. Same to us. You people have bad seeds. But I just think that love, care, kindness would push the community forward than looking for silent division, always talking behind the backs and making people feel like, they're not supposed to exist. And the last time I checked, you're still existing and breathing yourself, but I don't just know how. Sorry, I'm joking. This is not, again, I must be clear, this is not a coming out story. I wasn't anything. I don't know what I should come out from. I'm simply just, see it as reclamation. I see it every time as rebirth. I see it as redefining. I see it as rediscovering. And I must be honest by saying I am maybe one of the few lucky ones who's been able to go through therapy and being helped. And there are a lot of people there who cannot afford it and stuff. But if you want to reach out to me, I'm more than happy to listen. I'm not going to solve a problem. There are lots of resources out there, right? But I just hope that those who are against this kind of discussion, or those who are confused, let's talk. Let's just talk rather than sit there and hate. Like, why hate? I mean, Jesus was walking around with prostitutes and tax collectors. That makes me feel even better.
I can't. But thank you.
Well,
Thank you so much, Franklin. Thank you for joining us, and thank you for being open and vulnerable. I think coming into this, I recognize some of the ways that, looking back, and especially on our relationship and listening
mhm.
to your struggles, I hate to say you wore them well, because that's not a compliment. All of the
Thank you.
angst that you were going through,
Mhm.
while we took it for granted what you were going through. So I'm just going to say sorry for that, but, doing better, and we in this together. So
Right.
thank you. And for our listeners who would like to connect with you respectfully, because I know some of y'all be tweaking, how can our listeners connect with you if they want to reach out?
Oh, that's a good question. Really, I mean, I'm on Facebook, but they can reach out to you, share my email with them. I'm more than happy. I
Okay.
love, yeah, emails, and let's start from there. Because I'm thinking some of these contacts will be private, so it's not like I want to out everything. Yeah, yeah, please feel free. Gay, hetero, straight, blue, black. Let's just have a discussion. I'm more than happy to, I'm more than really happy to listen to people, and I really love your podcast, and I think I've watched almost all of them, and
Oh, thank you.
the joy from your people you invite, and how you ladies really engage or embody these discussions and allow us to really express ourselves. I think that's the small thing is what really matters. It is the way forward. And so I was really happy when my sister reached out to me and said, hey, would you like to do this? Trust me, I had to think about it because it's public therapy. But again, there is no dirty laundry in public. I promise. It's all in good
It'll be
faith.
one-on-one between me and you.
Yeah, it's all in good faith, and I'm happy to share with a lot of people. And I want to end up by saying I still have my struggles. Our past still catches up with us because, when we don't deal with things like that, there's still moments where I really question who I am. Why am I who I am? Why do I do the things I do? So, but then again, what is more important for me is to always stay grounded in the moment, appreciate life, show a little bit of self-compassion to yourself. It's difficult to shut out the world, but I think we can reach a stage where we listen, it passes through you, and it doesn't become you. So for your listeners out there who are going through a lot of difficulties, man, woman, just a little bit of self-compassion goes a long way. Yeah. little bit of self-compassion goes a long way. And therapy helps. Talk to someone, find that friend.
Qualified,
Yeah,
qualified.
qualified. You talk to someone, share your experiences with the person. Stay healthy. Yeah. It's that's all I can say. I know some people will come for me, but
No,
wish them well. But I'm really happy. Yeah, I'm more than happy to kick off this discussion from the male side because I didn't see any male person yet.
I know,
Saw
yes.
I saw the female and they went harder than me, but I hope I've been really generous.
Yes. I was thinking about it like, dang, we've done two females, and then I was like, yeah, we have to have a guy next. And then that very day I got, or maybe the next day, we got a comment saying they would love to hear from a male perspective. And I was like, I have the person. So
Because women
yeah,
women have touch, right? With male, I'm already feeling like I'm a failure to manhood or whatever thing. And so that's why I think some of the gay men might be reluctant to just expose themselves. Not that there isn't, but they might be reluctant to do it.
it's big.
I hope I'm the first person to smash down that glass wall or ceiling. If there are more in the future, I'm also more than really happy to have that to listen to them because again, it's all about stories, right? I just want to hear people's stories. And when you hear it, you go, you went through all of that? And I'm sitting here thinking like, I have issues. You see, yeah, people have issues. So yeah, thank you again for really, really, really inviting me. I feel good now just talking on the podcast and
See, maybe
I'm
you'll come
writing.
back.
I'm writing about my life. Yeah, I'm gonna go on the website, build my own blog and blog about everything. Because I think it's necessary, is how I heal. Um, yeah, I'm not gonna hold anything back. But yeah, hopefully there's gonna be a book that comes out of this.
Hey, we'll be looking forward to it and sharing with our readers, which
Yeah.
now will be a good segue to say our July book of the month is going to be My Parents' Marriage by Nana Ikwa Hammond. I really enjoyed this book. It embodies your contemporary African marriage, whatever that means to you. You will probably recognize a few characters in that. So I'm looking forward to that. And for those who are new here, we are on YouTube at Two Bees in a Pod and Instagram at 2Bs Pod. We're also on Facebook if you're in that demographic at 2Bs in a Pod also. Subscribe here, follow us on all the things, tell a friend to tell a friend, leave us a comment. And until next time, one who loves the vase loves also what is inside. And the church said, Amen,
Man.
because there is nothing else to be said.